Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to get started now that it's the top of the hour. My name is Heather Newman, and I'm with Content Panda, and I welcome you to the use case webinar series. We are in August. I can't believe it's already August, but here we are. Today we've got helping corporate communications. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. And today you have myself, Heather Newman, and Simeon Kathy. Simeon, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Awesome, thank you, Simeon. So Simeon and I will be taking you through some stuff. We'll have some slides, and then we'll have some demo, and then we'll have time for question and answer at the end. But if you want to, feel free to put some questions in as we're going along. I'll be monitoring those, and we can take those for you as well. Just a couple of housekeeping things, just some fun stuff coming up. Where we will be, Content Panda will be during the next bit in the fall. Many of you know, and thank you for being longtime fans. I know, so I'm looking at the folks who are on, so hello to all of you customers and partners who are on, and some new folks too, which is great. I'm a Microsoft MVP, and I do a lot of speaking out in the world, and I will be at SharePoint TechCon in Boston, doing a Humans in Tech presentation about building diversity programs and collaboration tools. So a little bit about Teams and Planner and Yammer and SharePoint, oh my. I'll also be doing a panel there for diversity in tech in conjunction with women in SharePoint, so that should be really fun. So that's coming up at the end of August. And then Ignite, Microsoft's largest IT Pro focused show, coming up in September. We'll be there as well, hosting a podcast and a meetup and a couple of sessions. So we'll be there, and hopefully if any of you are going, let us know. We'd love to say hello and give you a shout in person, so that would be terrific. And next, just another point, Women in SharePoint, for those of you who don't know about this great organization, I help out with a bunch of other ladies that run this. We're always doing cool things on Twitter and Facebook, and so if you want to join in the fun, Women in SharePoint, and then follow on Twitter as well. We do a lot with the Tech Cons and SP Fest and other events where we're putting together panels and lunches and programming, and hopefully going to be doing some more webinars out in the world as well soon. So if you aren't already a part of that, or want to share that with the ladies of your organization, that is where to go to check that out. A couple of places that we love to make sure people are in the know about, if you will. Microsoft Tech Community is a really great place to go for information on all the different things that people are writing about. You have lots of MVPs and influencers, and Microsoft itself up putting information. It's Microsoft Tech Community, and a browser that can get you there. So definitely check that out if you're not a part of that already. User Voice is the place where you have a voice directly to the engineering teams. I use this one a lot on Teams and Planner. I'm always looking for new features and functionality. If you're in User Voice, you can vote on the different features that have already been submitted, and then you can also submit one yourself. I love this because about 5 or 6 years ago, there was really no direct contact into the engineering teams at Microsoft, and so this is that conduit, which is awesome. And so there's also a running list of what's being taken care of and when, what's on a roadmap, all of that sort of thing. So definitely check out User Voice for your favorite Microsoft product, and use your voice there. Speaking of roadmap, the Office 365 roadmap is really wonderful about talking about what's coming as well. There's a lot of announcements up in the roadmap, and also the Office 365 Message Center. Another great place to get information on sort of what's coming and what the roadmap looks like for the next 6 to 9 months. Regarding 365 is another company out there that does a lot of really great videos and webinars where they actually go through the Message Center. And it's kind of like a Cliff Notes for the roadmap and Message Center, and they usually do one a week and go through all that stuff. So if you haven't checked them out, it's Regarding 365 out on YouTube, and then also on Twitter. We all went to the SharePoint Conference North America. There's many sessions up there that are really terrific, and so you can check those out. I'll put all these links also out on Twitter so that you can grab them as well after the webinar. And then we're also recording this, and we'll be putting this presentation up on SlideShare up on our site, so you'll be able to get to all of this stuff afterwards, and you'll get a link to the recording. Twitter lists, podcast Twitter lists, all kinds of great stuff. These are sort of, for me, a lot of the most important places to go look for information of like what's current for Microsoft, of what they're doing. And then lastly, Fast Track, which is the onboarding and adoption piece that Microsoft has put out and put together. When I talk about end user adoption campaigns, I use a lot of the materials from Fast Track to help people build those campaigns inside their businesses. So it's a great place to look for information on how to build campaigns. And a lot of the templates for that sort of thing are also up on our Content Panda site under downloads. So if you're looking for sort of an adoption checklist, if you're looking for ebooks on migration, on change management, all of that stuff is up on our contentpanda.com like resources area. So we try and pull the best information that we can find out there and add to it, and then also put it out for folks to grab. So that's that. We have a really exciting partnership with Combined Knowledge, which is a company out of the UK, and then MindSharp, which is also in the US. The three of us, we all work together really closely to really drive education and end user adoption really across sort of all types of learning paths. So MindSharp, if you don't know those folks, they do a lot of the in-person training. Brian Alderman, who's an MVP and longtime just SharePoint person, he does a lot of that in-person training and he's terrific. And then we work with Combined Knowledge on content, on bringing the best sort of bite-sized videos and content in and through Content Panda in a in-context contextualized way. So we really feel like that powerful Better Together story is that we're addressing all the different ways people learn with how we use our product to help people get the right content at the right time, to decrease those support tickets. Hopefully we're alleviating those "how do I do this" question that often comes up, and then really helping people with governance and making sure corporate policies are followed. And today's webinar is going to go a little bit deeper into that, as far as corporate communications needing to get information out to someone, to one of their employees. And something that we find in sort of modern workplace, we've got, the average time that somebody is spending searching for something is about 2.5 hours, which is kind of a lot of time out of your day, if you will, trying to find the information that you need, or make sure that as an administrator or a corporate communications person that you're actually giving people the information they need. Also, we have about 40% of productivity is lost between switching tasks. So a lot of the times, you're in the middle of trying to get something done and you maybe can't remember how to do something on a SharePoint site, and you need to go hunt and search, I can't remember how to do that, where do I go? And a lot of the times, the question mark at the top can be helpful, but we find that it's not always the most relevant, up-to-date information. And so with Content Panda and what we do with our product, putting help content in context inside the user interface of the product, we're hopefully decreasing the time people spend searching for knowledge, and also decreasing that percentage of that time that is in between tasks. The other thing about modern workplace, which we all know, is that 50% of the workforce, we're partially out of pocket. I'm actually in Astoria, Queens right now. I'm in New York. I usually live in California and work from my home office in Marina Del Rey. Simeon's out in Maui and Hawaii, and other people on our team are all kinds of different places, right? So the need for us to be able to communicate quickly and also in a place where we can find information quickly between each other is really important. So I think Content Panda definitely helps with that time it takes to find something, the percentages on productivity, and making it a seamless experience for people who are working all over the world in different geographies. Use cases for Content Panda. We have a bunch that a lot of the times come directly from our customers and our partners. And today we're going to focus on corporate communications, but a few others. Digital transformation is a big buzzword in the world today, and we definitely have use cases around how people are transforming their businesses, how they're working from, say, maybe they're migrating from one version of SharePoint to the other, how they are using, internets in a box, how they're leveraging lots of third-party tools as well, or leveraging the entire Office 365 ecosystem for their businesses. So in the future webinars that we're going to put on, we're going to do these once a month. We're going to tackle each of the use cases in separate individual webinars. So coming soon, you'll see some more on this list. Employee onboarding, employee training, those, a lot of the times that function will sit in human resources, and making sure that people get up to speed quickly when they join a company, and that's been a really big use case for Content Panda. End user support, just that is straight up getting the information you need when you're inside working in your SharePoint space, and making sure that it's easy, one click, that you can consume things very quickly. And we'll go into that a little bit more, and you'll see some of that when Simeon shows the demo. The last thing is that new features really pop up in Office 365 all the time. If you pay attention to the roadmap, if you're paying attention to user voice, and you're just seeing all the time, what it used to be that we'd get updates, like maybe every 3 months or even in a year, and now they're coming out even daily. Things are changing, and so with Content Panda, we really like to be able to be on target with the changes that are happening, and knowing that people can find information about new things that are coming out as well. So that's also a use case for us. And with that, I'm going to pass over the mantle or the baton, I don't know, maybe the Panda to Simeon. So you can get into some use case talk and then also a demo. And let me make sure I can give you the presentation power. Make presenter. There we go. Simeon, Kathy, you're up. Cool. Simeon? Can you all still hear me, hear us? Yep, okay, good.
Okay, can anybody hear me? Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Something happened with my my phone connection, so I'm going over Wi-Fi now. Hopefully this will work.
Okay,
All
you sound great. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool, awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today, and thank you, Heather, for that intro. I'm going to dive into some really kind of specific use cases that we see our customers using Content Panda for. And I want to start by kind of talking about, the old way of doing things, the challenges, and the kind of the way that we do corporate communications today. And I'll cover a few scenarios. One is, all 4 of these are going to be kind of repeats of what our customers have told us. I get the pleasure of sitting down with our customers once every few months and kind of seeing how they're using Content Panda, making sure they're getting the most value out of it. And these are some of the things that I hear. We have a customer who finds that it's very important to make sure that when users come to their SharePoint site, they understand that it's a very confidential site, and they need to be very careful. And I'll show you how they tried to communicate that to their users in a minute. And then we have another customer who is hiring like crazy. Great economy, great business growth, and one of their challenges is making sure that when new employees come into the company, that they get access to the right information about their benefits and other things. And another one of our customers had a really interesting issue where they were watching users struggle regularly in the same place all year long. And so I'll show you how we addressed that issue by communicating to the user. And finally, compliance, where it's important to have users behave in a certain way, but the challenge in trying to figure out how to get that information in front of users can be a challenge. And these are the ways that our customers were trying to get that information to their employees. Email campaigns, so sending email off to folks and going, hey, everybody, next time you do X, Y, or Z, we need you to behave in A, B, or C way. You guys, if you're Office 365 or SharePoint folks, you have probably heard the word governance, which sounds scary, but really ends up becoming a long Word document of how people should behave, how they should be governed within SharePoint, or it could become a wiki. That's my little Wikipedia icon down there. Or news on a web page or up on a portal somewhere. So these are kind of the options today for communicating. You may have done things too, like right now we're doing a webinar, maybe a luncheon or a brown bag where everybody gets together and they talk. Some of the challenges with all of these forms of communication is users find themselves going, "I'm sorry," after the fact because I forgot the information, which nobody likes to feel that guilt, or I couldn't find the information. I couldn't find the link to that wiki or that document, or I didn't get it. I didn't understand what I was supposed to do, and maybe I was afraid to ask. So I'm just going to dive directly into these use cases here. The first one I want to focus on is this confidentiality notice, and this is fairly typical. Trying to figure out from a communications perspective how to make sure end users understand the nature of the content that they're about to look at, and that there might be a bit of responsibility. The challenge is sometimes just competing with all the other content on a page. You can see here my confidentiality notice is sort of blended into all of my other content on my SharePoint page, and that can be a challenge. You might find somebody behaving incorrectly and go, "Hey, we did our job, we put up this notice," but people are just saying, "Sorry, I didn't even see it," or "I didn't know where it was. I remember hearing something about it." Another option there is sending an email or getting an email like this that says, "Hey, we've got a legal notice, and it says when you upload files, make sure you follow this file naming convention." This is another great example of sending out some information, trying to get eyeballs and attention from end users on how to act and how to behave. Now, if I'm an end user and I'm getting this, within probably a few days, maybe a week or two, I'm going to forget I even got this email. And if I do remember, then I've got to go dig through my email and try to remember. So I'm going to show you guys with Content Panda how to kind of overcome this challenge as well. We can also communicate by making things kind of grab people's attention, make them kind of pretty, like, hey, here's probably the 4 most important things we want to show on the screen. Again, as sites get proliferated with content, these start kind of competing with some of the other content on the screen. So I'll show you how we can really make these important things pop out to end users. Let's see here, what else do I want to show? Oh yeah, I want to show you guys my file naming policy. So let's go back here a moment to maybe our whole list of all of our SharePoint policies, where we've done the work, we've really taken the time to go through and put some governance around how SharePoint works. For an end user, this, whether this is a document, it's a wiki, or it's a bunch of SharePoint items in list form, can be a huge challenge to an end user. It's very not user-friendly and requires maybe me as a communications officer or as a SharePoint admin, or someone supporting a SharePoint manager. I got to repeat this over and over and over in email to even get people to understand that it's here, or teach them how to search for it. So here's a few examples of the kind of daily challenges our customers have. Now I'm going to jump in and kind of show you how we can overcome these with Content Panda. Give me just a second here to switch over. Okay, and here we go. And here we go. Okay, so what I've done here is I've switched over to an incognito window where I have Content Panda installed on this same portal, and we're looking at the exact same content. And what I want to do is show you guys that with Content Panda, I was able to come in and log in and create a new experience for when users come to the homepage of my intranet site. And the way I've configured it is that every time a user comes here, they're going to get this confidentiality notice in a new way, in a more effective way. So I'm just going to refresh the page here, and now it's my next time in, and there's a Content Panda pop-up that says, "Hey everybody, this is a confidentiality notice. This site and any contents or web pages attached can contain confidential information. Please take note of this. So there's a couple of options here. One is to have this pop up every time, and in some more critical environments, it might be important to have every time a user comes in, because users may come in, let's say, maybe they come in once a week or once every 2 weeks, to remind them again how important it is to mind their manners inside of the SharePoint site. So I can just click close here. Now we track that on the back end, so we know how many users, and if a customer wants to, which users have sort of accepted that. Now I'm going to move on to the human resources site, where we had that challenge of creating pretty buttons to make things really pop out and communicate to our employees the important aspects of our human resources site. And so there it is. And now with Content Panda, you'll recognize that pop up and say, hey, welcome. Now I have this one configured so that it only pops up the first time a user comes to this site. So once they're here and we kind of point out a couple of key things, then we're done with that user, and from then on they should probably remember. And it's not that important. They can typically find themselves around, but given the opportunity, let's show them, to give them a little tour on their first time in. So a little welcome message, user can click next, and I see that HR is really trying to communicate that this is where I request time off. Here's working healthy, ergonomics in the workplace. There must be some good information for me there. And my employee benefits calculator. Finally, new employee orientation, where maybe I want to refer back to during my first 60 days. And finally, a nice message from the CEO. Hey, welcome to the company. Maybe you're our most important asset, and here's my personal phone number if you want. So that's kind of a nice way to really communicate to end users in a really specific scenario. The first time you're in, welcome to the company, and here's some things we want to point out. Now I mentioned earlier, one of the scenarios was really watching and paying attention to where end users struggle, and that's what one of our customers did. And they came to me and said, "Hey, Simeon, we've got this form where people they just can't remember how to fill out this form. And every time they come to this form, they go to this drop down here of these acronyms, which just happens to drive a workflow and needs to be recorded in our accounting system. And they don't know what to do here. So they end up calling human resources. We'd like to figure out, we've actually sent email out saying, hey, if you want to request time off, here's what these acronyms mean. And we even posted on one of our wiki pages, but people still call on a regular basis asking us what these acronyms mean. I actually just learned the other day that an acronym isn't actually an acronym unless the combination of letters creates a word. So ATO, maybe that is an acronym. But anyway, they were getting 2 to 3 calls to HR a week for this. So what we did is we decided, well, what if we could communicate when a user comes to this page? And we know a user comes to this page 3 or 4 times a year. Why not just have every single time somebody comes to this page, have it pop up a little notice that says, hey, here's what these things mean. So I'm just going to mimic that our customer's behavior and click on request personal time off. And when this page loads, Content Panda says, hey, I've got some content for this particular section on the page. And here are the acronym definitions. Please select the appropriate code for the time off. And the user can still use SharePoint. So with Content Panda activating automatically and giving me additional information, kind of guiding me through, I can still go ahead and fill out the form and go on my way. So another example of if you're paying attention to where your users are struggling, you can use Content Panda to alleviate some of that pain. Now, the interesting thing about this story is not only the expected behavior happened, where people just stopped, weren't calling the human resources department about this question anymore, but the number of submissions for requesting time off doubled, which meant that there were a lot of people who were afraid to ask for help, who just took unauthorized or untracked time off. So that was kind of an interesting thing that they learned after solving this particular problem. Alrighty, now, so what I'm going to do is go over to our legal library. And this is an area where I showed you that email earlier that I got that explained to me my file naming conventions I'm supposed to follow, and that I'm supposed to, let's see here, this email here, convert my documents to PDFs when I upload them, and use this particular file naming convention. And there was also, it turns out, there's also a SharePoint policy out of my SharePoint site that has that exact same information. Now, as a department lead coming into the legal site where I'm uploading my quarterly documents, that's going to be a challenge for me to remember. So what we've done here for another one of our clients was we activated Content Panda to automatically highlight this particular document library and say, hey, here's our policy. Please follow our corporate file naming policy. And here's a link to that particular file naming policy that's out there in our wiki or in our SharePoint list. And here's an embedded video that teaches me how to convert a Word document to a PDF right from inside Microsoft Word. And this is just a video that I found on YouTube. Of course, you can add any videos you like to this experience, and to whatever you think will help your end users. So those are a few scenarios that we see our customers getting value out of Content Panda. It's very easy to set those up and sequence them so that you're delivering the most important information to your end users right where they need it and right when they need it. Sometimes when we communicate to users, one of the challenges is, gosh, we can only get a small amount of information communicated in each email or communication opportunity. So now we've really got to pick what's the most important things we want our end users to remember. And it turns out studies show that you can give information to an employee, but if they don't actually apply that information to something they do in their job, within 72 hours, it's typically gone from their brain. Their brain says, you know what, that's not relevant. I'm going to automatically sort of stick that on a shelf somewhere where maybe I might need it, but it's not going to take priority in my brain. And a user will find themselves very regularly struggling, thinking, you know what, I should know what I'm supposed to do. And they're afraid to ask for help. Nobody likes to really ask for help. And so they end up struggling. So this is a great way to say, you know, maybe we don't have to worry about what the most important things are that we need to communicate, but instead where and when we communicate. So going out to your SharePoint site and saying, you know, we know people are struggling here, or they're making mistakes here, or I've got an extra, I've got new project managers that are getting access to SharePoint sites, and we just want to go, you know, show them, you know, when they get to their site settings page, maybe we want to show them some really helpful information so they can get more out of SharePoint. So just turn on help and give them access to all of this great help content right where they need it, or right where we think they'll probably need it. All right, so let's see here. Did I miss anything? I did. I should have a slide here that has a happy face of end users who are getting communicated to more effectively in this new modern way of delivering relevant and important information. I think that's all I have for our use case demos, Heather.
Wonderful. Hey, I'm wondering, will you go in and show everybody the share button really quick too? I think that would be cool, just to show them that experience.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so Heather's pointing out something that's really interesting. Because we've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of users using Content Panda daily, we get to see some interesting behaviors. And the number one button that people click, the number one Content Panda button that people click, is they'll go turn on help. And this is where Content Panda looks through the whole screen, find if there's any help content available. But the number one Panda users click is this one for the share button. And I find that very interesting. It means, what it says to me is that people are a little bit afraid of, gosh, what happens when I share? We've all seen what happens, you know, when people like and share and do things on Facebook and other platforms. Sharing in SharePoint, obviously, share is in the name of SharePoint, but this is, you know, share is giving people access to potentially, you know, confidential information. So how share actually works can be very important. So, oh, and I want to point out what I just did here was I clicked on one of our support links, and that took me into our help and support content, where we have hundreds and hundreds of topics. And this one went directly to share a site, where it has step-by-step instructions. For users that are a little bit more visual, we've got our screenshots of the experience with step-by-step instructions. For these topics, we also have these little bite-sized videos, and these are non-narrated videos. So if somebody's in an open office environment, they can watch a video of exactly how to do this step-by-step without disturbing their neighbors. But we also have computer-based training, and what's cool about computer-based training is it takes this entire section here in our training platform around managing permissions, and it rolls it up into a narrated series of videos and a quiz to help users remember, to kind of test and make sure they understood what they've just learned. And this is just one section here. This is in the security section. There's content here for publishing sites, how to create a publishing page, how to all of the things you would expect for training in SharePoint. One of my favorites is, and this happens a lot, we have folks who still have SharePoint 2013, SharePoint 2016, and SharePoint Online environments. And so when they want to learn how to do document management, for example, we've got Libraries Classic. So you might find this section here very helpful for creating documents in SharePoint 2016, and then modern libraries as well. So for, say, SharePoint Online, right? So a good breadth of training information. We keep this content, we're updating this content every 30 days. As you guys know, Microsoft is updating Office 365, sometimes even quicker than that. Another kind of cool thing about this is if you're in the support role in your organization and you're supporting SharePoint, just trying to help end users, if they get a hold of you, and this is what we've seen, one of our customers, they've got 36,000 employees. Their whole SharePoint support experience has completely transitioned. They used to get awards within their organization for being the best technical support team because they were very helpful. They had a phone they could answer. They'd walk people through things. What they've got, their experience now is when somebody calls, they say, "Hey, did you click the Panda?" And 8 times out of 10, the end user goes, "Oh, cool, thank you," and they're off the phone. Sometimes the tech support lead says, "Here, let me find you the topic that's most relevant to you," and then they just click email, which opens up a brand new email. They can send it off to the user, and that and the link goes directly into the platform where the user can go explore and find kind of on their own self-paced training. Now, yeah, that's sorry, I went a little deep on that one, Heather.
That's okay. Just leave that up for a second. So yeah, I think I wanted to just share that just because actually just the Panda panel, not the. Yeah, cool, thanks. Yeah, so the thing about Content Panda, as far as, a lot of the things, we've showed you use cases that, pop up information, and you can have Content Panda, when you go to a certain page, give that legal, we need it in the PDF information. At the end of the day, though, the sort of the out-of-the-box Content Panda as well, which everything you saw was out of the box, but where we really find that sweet spot is in these what we call Panda Panels, And so what's cool about this is that you've got the capability to put, there's pandas that we have already stocked up, out of the box. You can also hide pandas. So if you don't want information sitting out there, like you say you don't want anybody to change the site logo, well, you'd maybe hide that panda, right? So you've got the capabilities of having help sitting there. You can take help away. You can also edit anything that we have here. Every Panda panel that you see has a title, it has a description, it has links, some of them have videos, some of them have a search bar in it that we've already populated with what you should go and search on. So all of the things that are inside that panel can be changed, can be updated to what the administrators and editors want to put out to their folks. So you've got this really kind of robust, you've got out-of-the-box content, you've got this entire LMS system, if you will, behind you, but you also have that capability to customize your own content, put out your own governance policies like we showed you. And then Simeon's showing this kind of this really cool thing that we did as well, is that, you know, some people like the pandas sitting there next to whatever it is, and they can easily click on it because it's got that in context, you know, on demand feel, right? Other people, they want to see a list. So when you're inside and turning Content Panda on for that first time there, it gives you some options of clicking on application training and support. And that brings up this panel here to where Simeon was clicking around on the training topics above there, which flies out. Sometimes it, you know, and again, customizable. This one in particular flies out a video that you can watch and some information. Yep, I made you work, right? And then if you go back into that list as well, anything that's underneath the in context help there. So when you click on any of those, it takes you directly to the Panda that's in context that you're looking for, right? So again, what we're trying to do with Content Panda is really address different learning styles, different ways that you want to communicate out to your users, giving them the help that they need. And what's great about it is that, kind of like Simeon was saying, once they get used to the fact that there is a panda on the page and support tells people click the panda, then it becomes so self-service that, you know, people really kind of understand that this is how you get to the information that you need. And so they're clicking the panda, they're looking in lists, and even when maybe they're, you know, wanting to get a little bit more training because, you know, they're being asked to do certain things or know that certain task is coming up, they can go into that back end anytime and go learn more about Content Panda and learn more about SharePoint and learn more about all the different topics that we have. And this is kind of cool too, where support, you can change this as well. Like for right now, basically it's saying, hey, check out our knowledge base, fill out a form. This can be connected back into a ticketing system. So we try really hard to give lots of different options for people, that you get all this great stuff out of the box, you get all this content out of the box, but you also have the capabilities of editing and changing and updating to what really works for your business objectives and mission critical information getting to people, which is what this whole use case was about today, is having communications, have the ability to get information out where they need it. And Simeon, we'll finish up here in just a sec and open it up for questions, but will you tell folks about the support, you know, the folks that wanted to change the panda?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Actually, Heather, I didn't tell you this, but I just got another company who did the same thing happen.
Oh, really?
An airline, a major airline. They bought Content Panda about a year ago, and it's very easy to change the pandas to all of the icons. In fact, all of the words, all the colors, and everything inside of Content Panda can be changed. So we've had several customers now, including this airline, who changed the panda head here, this little face. They changed it to a derivative of their own company, so that, you know, their own logo. And after almost a year now of using it, their experience has been that users get a hold of end users, call them up, and they say, "Hey, did you click on the little icon?" End users are like, "Why would I click on our own little icon?" I didn't even notice it was just sitting there. I just thought it was like a little thing saying, "Hey, this is our site." And so they're changing. They're the third customer now. They're changing it back to a panda, which is very interesting. Seeing a friendly little panda on the side of the screen, first of all, it's not really very intrusive. Second of all, it looks kind of friendly, and it invites the user to kind of go, what is this thing? And realize, oh, I can turn on all of this interesting information here, and kind of get started. So we've had, like, to make this story short, we've had a few customers who've recognized that they get more value out of Content Panda by changing it back to a panda.
Yeah, like, we all like to do what our customers want as well, and so, let them do what they want. But yeah, a lot of the times we've gotten that, bring it back to the Panda because people know how to click the Panda. Yeah, and that's the other thing that, a lot of people are like, corporate branding, look and feel. Definitely, like we were saying, colors can change and you can, move things around a little bit. So we try to give people flexibility to do what they want to do with the product. So yeah. So I wanted to see if there was any questions and open it up to the folks that are here. I don't see anything in the queue right quite yet, but if anybody has any questions, happy to answer. Let me see here. Yep, I don't see anything quite yet. Anything we didn't cover that you want to have us cover? Anybody? Simeon, did we cover everything we wanted to cover today? I think so.
I guess the only thing I would mention
Yeah.
is that we did a major pricing update, which makes it more Content Panda more accessible to our customers and other customers, smaller businesses. So if you've gotten a quote from us before, or if you haven't talked to us for a while, you may want to reach out and learn about our new pricing. I would.
I see somebody typing in the question here. Go ahead and keep typing and I'll grab your question. Oh, here we go. Does the help show up in the other Office 365 apps? Like Flow or Teams? Gotcha.
So currently we are working on a solution for that. We do have content. So we have content, training content for those applications, but we're not able to bring the pandas into the interface at this time. But it's something that's on a roadmap.
Yep, coming soon.
I would like to point out, however, that if you wanted to point users to that within Office 365, you can just have your users click on our Support Plus icon here, and from within any one of these apps, Flow, Teams, wherever, and go click on any of the support or training for that, or
yep.
Training Plus. So we've got training content for those as well.
So we have the ability to. We also sell that direct training as well. So that's part of our solution offering in conjunction with Combined Knowledge as well. So there is training available. We're looking to get it in the in-context way as well, and that's I'm very excited for that, and it's coming soon. So on the roadmap. So, yep. Any other questions? Okay, I think. How do you get a demo? Up on our website, up on contentpanda.com, the button on it's a big old button on the top right-hand side, and you can get a demo with us, and that goes right into our calendars. Yep, thank you, Simeon. Excellent. Yeah, so right up here, schedule a demo. So that's direct into our calendars, and you can get a further demo and ask us more questions. Love it. So there you go. And Simeon, will you hit resources real quick? And then we'll close this puppy out. So downloads. Yeah. So like I was saying before, we've got all kinds of great stuff up there. There's, if you scroll down, we have a case study with one of our customers, St. Luke's Health, that's up there that talks about how we've helped them transform their business. There's a couple other case studies up there as well, government agency, and then there's a third up there as well. Those are really good if you want to check those out. And then all of that content that I was talking about before for templates for end user adoption and all that sort of fun stuff are up there. And then the on-demand webinars, this will be up on that page. And then all of our presentations are there as well. So you can definitely check that out. So, yep, to answer that question. So, awesome. If there's no more questions, I'll leave it open for 2 more seconds, and then we'll rock on out of here and let everybody go on with their busy, busy day. Because I know we all have them. So, where do we get? Oh, I answered that. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, I think that we're done and wrapped up. If you want to get a hold of us also in an email form. sales@contentpanda.com is an easy way to shoot us a note. Happy if you would follow us on all the social stuff at Content Panda is where we sit for that. And we're going to start doing these. Actually, this is our second one that we've done. We will be doing them on the first Thursdays of the month, same bat time, or Panda channel, I should say. So if you want to join us for the next one, that would be awesome, and appreciate your time. Simeon, thank you for running through the demo for us. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a great day. And you'll be getting an email with the recording shortly, and appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.